So I want to clarify one thing real quick. No, two things real quick. So a lot of this must be the way that you're viewing things to a certain extent, because my practice, the only thing that's organized is these three things. Okay. So this is the organization. This is the structure. Everything else is adaptation throughout the day because every day offers something new. So your day is offering certain traps of attention. My day is offering certain traps of attention. That's the differentiation. But the consistency is that our days are offering different traps of attention. So some of my traps of attention are you have these things to get done, and like, what happens if you don't get all of this done? Ida's trap of attention is, am I being lazy? Am I just making excuses, or am I being strong? So well, and Donna, you don't have as many things to do. So now not having that many things to do somehow has manifested into a type of resistance that you feel, because that's kind of how you could hear it in your voice when you were
No,
describing
no,
it,
it's kind of the opposite. I love having that. It was my goal
Yeah.
for retirement to have no schedule, and to
Yeah.
just, yeah, let life
That's fine.
unfold. So
That's
yeah, and it gets sloppy
Yeah.
but it definitely does.
And that's a differentiation that's going to be for every human being. Every human being is going to have a different bubble of perception to contend with. There's going to be a lot of similarities in terms of the traps of attention because of the world that we live in. But if you were like living in the Amazon and you had never had contact with the human world, the c- civilized, no, not civilized, the technological, current world, well, you're going to
Uh-huh.
have a different field of perception. You're going to have different things to contend with, but you're human, so you're going to have something to contend with. It's just a lot. It's the way that things are. But so I do not structure my day. There might be some things that I need to do, and I need organization for that, but I want that. That's a part of my field of desire, even when it's not, you know, exactly what I want, because that happens with things sometimes, studying certain subjects isn't, that's not exactly what I want to study, but it's a part of an ultimate goal. And so I need some of that just do energy. I need to redirect. I need the mood of a warrior where I have controlled abandon. I can do the damn thing, but I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not, the tendency to start thinking about the future and then comparing it with the past, that could really happen in a student's life. Like these things are strong magnets in that type of field of perception. So, the practice isn't super organized. It's not like I have to do things in this way. I don't have it written down. It's not like at the beginning of the day I do. No, but I do have this organized. So this is the organization. I have four directions of attention. Within those four directions of attention, I have specific places that I like to put my mind. And I'm at the point in my practice where I'm also placing my emotion. I'm also, well, hopefully, there's times where I'm not able to do that as well. I have some different things occurring in my body, and, I'm more prone to irritation, and I got to navigate that, right? Not every moment is going to be this absolute epitome of perfect harmony and, absolute, but no, like I had one of these, as you drink a cup of coffee, I had one of these, it's a Robusta latte that wrecked my whole week. Like it had so much caffeine in it. I wrote a 42-page paper that was the best thing I've ever written in my life. And I was in an altered state of consciousness, and I suffered for the rest of the week. I couldn't sleep well. My whole body was trying to counterbalance to that one event. And that's my life. That's Ernest navigating this bubble of perception and didn't make the best choice. And then I'm walking past that same place again, and I'm thinking, well, they do taste good. But then it's like, I got to learn from this and, move on. So there's three primary structures to my practice. And I'm happy to share this practice with you guys because you seem to like it and you seem to benefit from it. But I'm not altering it. It's been the same thing, right? So the four directions of attention. Where is my mind and did I put it there? If not, change it. That's the same. That's the same core thing. So, but now I am at the point where there's a lot of fun stuff that I'm doing in my cognitive direction. I really like when I talk about quality, when I talk about luminosity, that's all the cognitive direction. It's actually more a synthesis of all four. I usually require all four directions and I can really feel that. Like, I can't feel the quality as well unless I'm really present in my body. Like, I can't ignore that certain things tend to be easier, more accessible, and more profound with all four directions active, not just cognitive. So it's not like I just skip steps and go straight to the cognitive. No, where is my breath? Where is my body? Where am I in space and time? Am I starting to link my directions of attention? Because that's when you start to really synthesize them. So that's the thing. That's organized. That's organized as shit because it has to be. Because I need, and then here's the second part of the practice is redirection. It's either a gentle redirection, like no, 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 no. Where's your breath? Where's your body? Where's your mind? But then there's sometimes where it's like, oh shit, that 60 seconds that Ida was talking about crept in. And now I'm thinking some bullshit about some bullshit. And a way that I've been describing it to Shayna lately, and it's probably getting on her nerves a little, but in AI, you have, and I'm sure Ida knows about this, but you have what's called computational credits. So you get a certain amount of credits each month or whatever, you can buy the credits. And every time AI does an active computation, it charges you some credits. And so you only have so many. And I have just taken that idea and now I call them cognition credits. I wake up with 100 cognition credits a day and thinking about stupid shit and doing stupid stuff and getting in patterns of feedback loops and getting stuck in an area of resistance and stagnation and eventually stasis. No, that's wasting my credits. I don't want to do that. And just like when you're using AI, you don't want to do that because now you're wasting your money because those credits cost money. So you don't want to do that. You want to optimize your interaction with AI so that one, you waste less electricity, and two, you can communicate better and get more stuff done. So the redirection technique has two apertures, and of course there's degrees in between, but it is either kind of like a just gentle, oh, back to my practice, I got that, or ooh, I'm fucking up and I need to redirect and I need to use all four directions and I need a mantra or whatever. I need productive self-dialogue because that's a part of
That's
that
usually
process.
that's usually commensurate with how far, long, or quickly you've gotten away from your practice.
Yeah, or the strength of some things can just have a lot of power.
Right.
Death can
Like
have a
how
lot of
far, how
yeah,
quickly, or how,
right.
what the motivating factor was doesn't matter. What the
Mm-mm.
trigger was doesn't matter. It just happened. You noticed it.
Yeah, and it can happen
Sometimes
when
it's a
you're
slippery slope. Oop, that's a slippery slope. And
yeah,
sometimes it's a holy shit.
right.
I'm really pissed. And how did I get there from here
Exactly.
to there? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that happens to all of us. So the way that I've set up emotion or my understanding of emotion, there's a layer of emotion that we're not aware of. And I like that. I want that to be there because that implies that there's always paying attention to be done. It's not like, oh, I know how I feel. I can just go and do this and just stop paying attention. No, I need to be aware of my emotional state because it's always changing. And there's an aspect of it that I'm not always aware of. And I
I
like that.
usually attribute that to, I agree and I understand and I agree for myself as well. And I usually attribute that to um like the layers of the onion thing. There are
Mm,
things under the threshold of recognition that I'm
yep.
not aware of that just got uncovered because I'm there in my practice. I am ready at this moment for my accumulation and my whatever, or whatever synchronicities lined up for that to be come into my awareness. Oh, there was something under my threshold of recognition, because how did I get from 0 to 60 from that? How did I get from 0 to 60 when I think I'm impervious to getting from 0 to 60 without my awareness? And I'm still subject to that. So obviously, there's attention that's needed in that. I don't have to go digging or chasing about it.
Mm,
It will become aware. I will become aware of it if it's a specific thing, or whether it's a general category of trigger that I have softened and loosened, but it hasn't disappeared. There are still things that exist under the threshold of my recognition
mhm.
that come to the surface.
Yes. And that will always be the case. It's built in. So, okay. So, to review, we have the four directions. It's super organized. Now, which direction am I in? That's freestyle. Like that's the mood of the moment, right? I don't always know which direction I'm going to be engaging the most in any one activity. Maybe I'm writing and then I just wrote some stuff that made me start to think about thinking about then I'm like, whoa, 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 no, 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 I need to bring it. So there's so much freestyle in the practice. It's just I have my OG techniques, you have your OG techniques, and they're so easy for us to access that it might not feel it definitely doesn't feel like it did in the beginning, like when we were trying to pay attention to doorknobs, which will always be my famous example for um, good try, is you okay? We're gonna start with I didn't want to be discouraging, but we'll go ahead and do doorknobs. But go ahead, Shanna. Did you have something?
I was just gonna add, I kind of like doorknobs, so I that is a point of attention for me when I'm walking
Yeah,
and stuff.
doorknobs and more specifically though, it's doorways. Like doorways, the archery, the arches of the doorways, the type of doors, the color of the doors. Yeah. But in the beginning, that might not be like where you want to, you don't that might not be the most valid trick of attention, but it still can give you an idea of what's going on and how to do it. Okay, so the four directions, super organized. I know what I want to do with my breath. I know what I want to do with my body. I tend to go back to very similar things that I'm super familiar with. That's fine. It's not repetitive, it's not habitual. So it's all good. It's a very aware thing that I'm doing. So four directions, super organized. Redirection, super organized. It's either smooth, easy, and kind of just a slight adjustment, and then 2 degrees leading up to rapid redirection. We've talked about this for ages. But then the warrior principles tie it all together for me. So the difference between universal principles and warrior principles. So the universal principles, it's just describing the way the universe moves, yin and yang, changing into one another, rely on one another, are dependent on one another, are born from one another. If one is damaged, the other. We can just see this in the universe that we interact in, and how it goes from two to three to and just keeps multiplying, and then the patterns start to emerge, and then the same pattern in the universe or in the galaxy we see in the flower or in the snowflake, and these are the micro and macrocosms expressing themselves. Patterns. It's all just patterns. We can recognize these patterns.